to the LEC post-game lobby. I'm Quickshot, joined by Drakos and Origin's Upset. And never did I think Mad Lions and Rogue would be tied for first at the end of week 3, day 1. Upset, I'm going to jump to you first. First of all, thank you so much for joining us. We will talk about your game in a moment or two. Talk to me a little bit about Fnatic Rogue and how Rogue seemed to win so convincingly.
Well, I think Rogue had a very strong early game draft with a lot of agency, and even though they failed some plays, Fnatic actually ended up forcing themselves and put themselves in a huge deficit from the plays they made. And Rogue played very well with the lead, I think, and they snowballed the game very convincingly and kind of just rolled them over at some point.
Yeah, I agree, and I kind of have to eat crow here, and Trevor's giving me this grin because he knows. Damn it, Trevor. Yeah, I mean, I didn't say Rogue were the real deal, but that was a fantastic game from Rogue. And while I agree with Upset here in that I think that Fnatic may be overforced when their comp had goals that, let's say, were more focused on later stages of the game, you do have to give credit to Rogue. One of the big things that we've heard teams play against Fnatic and G2 talk about is being willing to take those fights, being willing to contest, being confident in your ability to match these players, and Rogue showed that.
Yep.
They matched, they outplayed in a lot of circumstances, and even if Fnatic did make some mistakes, it was still a very good win.
71% of the fan vote nominated Larson for your Kia
Should have been
player
100
of the game. I mean, it was fantastic. He played exceptionally well. Upset, can I ask you a question? There's a lot of Fnatic fans in the world that are just like, protect the Reckless comp, give Reckless a carry, Soraka sucks, I hate it. They had the comp that so many fans wanted. How much blame do you put on Fnatic's play and decision making here versus like Rogue just doing the right things?
I would put maybe more blame on Fnatic than give Rogue credit, but it's kind of hard to say because I don't know how it felt like for Fnatic to play the game, like how hard they were getting pressured by Rogue. I think Rogue played very well, and I don't think it was to blame on drafts. I think Fnatic's draft was like very playable.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think you should give Rogue credit for what they did this game.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I think Fnatic fans are probably bummed that they finally got what they wanted. No more Soraka. You know, finally a composition that's all about the Wonder Boy himself. And then, honestly, the saddest part about this game is if you're a Fnatic fan, you watch the one character on your team who really matters, in my opinion, which is the Aphelios, and he's getting pressured bot lane while his top lane's already dying at like 4 minutes in the game, and the Olaf has a kill. And impressed if you can keep the mental game together after that one. I know I would be done if that was a solo queue game, but
unbelievable. I mean, look at that goal difference over time. All right, look, Rogue, congratulations. We just saw that one. We do have Upset with us, and I want to talk and get Upset your take first of all on you know what happened during the Mad Lions game. I saw you tweet immediately after that was a frustrating game. What went wrong? What happened?
Well, I think we actually got to a very good point in the game with our composition where their Mordekaiser couldn't match the Kayle anymore, and Kayle could actually take towers, but things got maybe a little bit stressful and we ended up TPing to a Baron. This was just one thing where we didn't really play to our composition, and they ended up teamfighting us with the teamfight comp, and yeah, I think the biggest problem was that we weren't entirely sure how we played our composition, and I think that's a theme in general right now where the very good teams can always lose in this meta if they have like a draft where they're not entirely sure how to play and it's more difficult to execute in the early weeks. For example, the G2 game as well, I think you could easily point to where their draft was like a lot harder to execute and they didn't manage to play to their win condition, and then the game ended up getting out of hand and SK also kind of rolled them over. Yeah. But I also have to give credit to Matt, of course. I think they're a very good team right now, and they played well, and even though I felt like personally we had the tools to finish the game with the position we got ourselves in the game, they still managed to play better than us and get the win, so props to them.
Upset, I'm extremely grateful to not only hear you, be self-reflective, but also to give kudos to Mad Lions. It's fantastic. I want to ask a question about Origin and some of the playstyle. A lot of the time that the shoutcasters and the broadcast team have spoken to yourself, to Andre, to Deficio, we're hearing a lot that Origin are picking more fights, are going for the skirmishes, are willing to get down and dirty with the G2s and the Fnatics of the world. Is this something that you guys are a little bit uncomfortable with? You're learning. You just mentioned didn't play the comp out well, so can you talk to the fans a little bit about that side of the story?
Well, in the start of Spring Split and throughout Spring Split, I think we played a lot of scaling comps where we had a very clear win condition at some point in the game. And this was kind of the meta that also went into playoffs, I think, where a lot of teams started playing more like this. And it's also now the meta in Summer Split more. But we also try to diversify ourselves a little bit more. So we have more depth in our playstyle when it comes to best of 5. But for best of 1s, it's probably still better to have like a very safe comp where you don't have to take the hugest amount of risk. But we have been working on this a lot, I think, and you could see in the games versus G2 and Fnatic that we won this split, that these things we have been working on improving over time, and we are definitely willing to take fights. And I think it's going in the right direction for us, even though there might be some growing pains from time to time where we might drop a game to a team that we would consider worse, because we are like trying to understand the game on more different levels.
Was this one of those games where you dropped a game to a team you considered worse?
Well, I would say so, but I don't want to take anything away from that. And of course, they're above us in the standings, but I wouldn't go into a game thinking that the enemy team will be much better than us or anything like this. So yeah, I would think that we would be the better team today, but today in the game, they were the better team. So yeah.
I think it's fair, and obviously you have a lot more knowledge into scrims and how things are going behind the scenes, so your perspective is always going to be different. You have a different set of information than I do. But when I look at that game was won, man. And I think seeing you guys...
it was very won.
It was won up until that one team fight where somehow Mordekaiser was relevant when he didn't do anything for an entire game, and a sick Alistair play, and the game just ended. And while that was really cool for Mad Lions, it makes me nervous about Origin. I was starting to get ready to get back on the hype train. You beat Fnatic, you're looking good, you're looking clean, and now I'm worried again. So I want to know, like, is this issue where you're not 100% sure? You said you credited it to not being 100% sure about how to execute your comp in the late game. Is that an issue that's been reoccurring in scrims? Is that something that you're working on, or did this really feel like a one-off that caught you off guard?
Well, I think we're very good at one style of composition where we can scale well, and we have like always the option to teamfight the enemy, and usually we are good at like not falling behind in lane or even winning lanes. But in this game we had to play to a different win condition, and I think that's why it was so frustrating for me and for the whole team, because we had a very clear win condition, but it was not to teamfight them. It was to end the games through Kale, and we fucked it up so badly. So that was just very frustrating. That's also why I tweeted this. But yeah, I think in general it's still a good thing, and a lot of things to learn from. And regarding scrims, there is a problem that it doesn't often go to late game, surprisingly, in scrims. And a lot of teams are surrendering at minute 20, but on stage the games always tend to be different. So knowing exactly what your comp does is way more important than smashing people in scrims and just snowballing the game. Because in a scrim, maybe we would have won our lanes harder, and we could have just grouped and team fought them anyways, right? But that's why it's so important to focus on the learnings from official games, because scrims can often be very different. And keep improving on this part of our game too. So we're a well-rounded team.
Upset, I'm absolutely loving hearing from you. I want to ask you a question about the top teams. Before I do that, let's take a look at the results from today. We saw SK pull off one of the biggest upsets so far this split. Now this team is looking like a real playoffs contender. You can see the standings on your screen. You've already touched a little bit on the gameplay. But as we start seeing some of the clips here from G2 losing, I want to ask you to tell me about the top teams in Europe. Who is, the top 3, top 4? Who are contenders that are shortlisted for Worlds competitors? 4 European teams are going. And, you know, you're talking about scrims. You see a lot more games, a lot more performances from these squads. And seeing G2 lose to SK, seeing you guys lose to Mad, seeing Rogue beating Fnatic, we, as viewers and shoutcasters, have more questions than ever before. So I'd like you to give us an answer. Who are the top teams in EU?
Well, I sadly don't have all the answers as well, of course, but from my perspective, thinking ahead, if the split plays out how I would expect it to be, that G2 Fnatic would still be very dangerous in the best of 5. I would consider us also closer to them now, and I would also consider Mad closer. I'm not entirely sure about Rogue. They look very good today, but I don't know exactly how it would be in a best of 5 setting, because I'm not sure how deep their game understanding is, but they're very good individual players too, and I think they know how to snowball a game right now. So it's very competitive right now, and I'm not entirely sure how it will play out, but I would still expect that G2 Fnatic will be very, very strong by the end of the split. And I also think Mad improves like a lot, so I also would think them and us would be the biggest contenders for Worlds, but I don't know, man. Like Rogue is winning all the games. They're also 5-1, so who knows? Even SK is looking good.
I mean, they're 4-2.
There we go. I was wondering if we were.
Right now.
I was wondering if you were ever going to mention SK, or if it was just going to be the subtle BM. But I like it. You got it in there at the end. But it feels to me like right now, while you're not, let's say, 100% confident in telling me exactly who top 4 is, it feels like your soft top 4 is Fnatic, G2, Origin, and Mad Lions. Is that safe to say?
Yes, that's what I would think, yeah, from all the information I have, not just the official games, yeah.
Tell me your opinion on Misfits. This is a team that seems to disappoint more than most.
Such a masochist, Trevor.
I don't know, I think they're more similar to last split in terms of performance, but the league overall is like very stacked, and last split they had like a huge win streak, and then they kind of fell off over time. So I'm not sure if they will be able to get a huge win streak that will give them the momentum again, or if they will stay more at the same level as of right now. But yeah, it's hard to say. Right now the league is very close, like it is most of the time when the split starts. So I wouldn't consider them that they have the potential to improve super much and be a Worlds contender, but they might prove me wrong. We'll see.
For fans and viewers at home, if you pay close attention to Upset's eyes or the pause before, he feels a lot worse about Misfits than he's willing to commit to. And that's fair. That's fair. I accept that. I accept that.
Wow, we've got the mentalist on stage.
That's it.
You're thinking of something, and it's that Misfits are bad. Yeah.
Listen, I want to move on to take a look at tomorrow as well. Let's take a look at the action we've got in store. We're going to close out week 3. We're going to finish the first half next week, but for the games tomorrow, Vitality, SK, Misfits, SKL, OG Schalke, Mad Lions, Rogue, and the final match of the week.
All right, normally Upset, I would ask you about your game. I don't want to call it a sure thing at this point because I feel like I would jinx you, but it's probably not the most compelling answer because you'll try to be nice, so I just won't ask you. So instead, I'll ask you about Mad Lions versus Rogue and G2 versus Fnatic. I really want to know what you think about these two matchups specifically.
I think Fnatic looked kind of tilted today in the game, the plays they were going for. And I know G2 is super strong mentally, and I don't know if the same is true for Fnatic. So I would definitely expect G2 to get their stuff together and get the win tomorrow. And Mad vs Rogue, I would also give it to Rogue. No, to Mad. I think they understand the game on a deeper level, and I think they will be able to beat Rogue.
How surprised are you, Upset, that at this stage in the split, Fnatic G2 are 3-3, Mad Lions and Rogue 5-1, and the match of the week is the two teams at 3-3?
Yeah, it is very weird. Like right now, it feels like everyone can beat anyone, so it's just like super exciting and very nerve-wracking as well to play because the standings are so up in the air. So yeah, I think everyone right now is just trying to really figure out what they're good at and what kind of way they want to play the game. And I think Mad and Rogue have like the best idea for their team right now. I think you can see Fnatic, G2 and us trying a little bit more different type of compositions, maybe. So it is very up in the air, and it is very surprising to me as well that Matt and Rogue are doing better in G2.
It's fantastic for us.
As it is to most of us. Yeah.
For viewers and shoutcasters, it's fantastic. Drakos, I'm not letting you off the hook because at the end of the day, we have our match of the week. It is G2 and Fnatic. They hit the Rift.
Yep.
It is a rematch of the Spring Finals. I said earlier, it is the greatest competition and rivalry in League of Legends worldwide. You tell me your thoughts on the matchup.
Shit, well, I'm casting it, so I don't want to come off too biased because people will be like predisposed to flame me. Okay, so G2 drafted themselves into a corner. Fnatic played themselves into a corner. It's very easy to change your draft, in my opinion. But if you're running it down in these games, that's a harder habit to change, and that's clearly something going wrong in communications. Whereas, sorry, Grabs, very easy to blame Grabs and go to the next game. So I think G2 are the favorites right now. But honestly, like, if Fnatic and G2 played a best of 5 tomorrow, you would just see 2 completely different teams. Like, I don't think that this is the most hardcore, most committed G2 and Fnatic that we've seen. I don't think anyone doubts that both these teams are going to sort their shit out before the end of the split. That said, I don't know if it's going to happen in this game. I know both teams care about this rivalry. I think they'll both take it very seriously, but also neither team is in top shape right now.
Yeah, I think both teams have absolutely something to prove to the fans, to themselves, to everybody watching. That's it. I mean, I'm pretty happy. Upset, let's give some final thoughts here. You guys are playing Schalke tomorrow. Are we going to see another surprise victory in Origin beating Schalke?
Hopefully, it's my old team, and I haven't lost to them since I left, and they haven't been doing so well, and I really don't want them to start doing well now that I left, so... I'm very confident we will win tomorrow. Yes.
I'm going to obliterate you with memes if you lose that. If you're the 1-6, oh my god, you will not live it down.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, because it's true. Because like the pressure is on you. Because you can't. If you win, it's like cool, great. But if you lose, So sorry, not trying to put more pressure on, but at the same time, it's a lot of pressure. You don't want to be the guy that gives them their first win.
Upset, Drakos, thank you so much.
True, yeah.
That is all from us here tonight. In a few hours, it is time for Friday Night League in the LCS, ending with a huge clash between Cloud9 and Team Liquid here from Berlin and Denmark. We'll be back tomorrow for more League of Legends. See you then. Cheers.
Bye.
Though, getting aggressive once again. Have to see if Odawan can outplay this, but the double Cyclone here is just too much to deal with. Can he do it? Kalista gonna take it. Lorok's denied, and it's Cries right into the back line. Odawan is in the fight, but it's too little too late. That's a Wukong highway to get Toy right into the back line, and ooh, clean sweep, and Schalke no fear. It's Malik the plastic over the wall, and Akabe Peppermint now trying to push it back, but Comp is still here. Comp is still uncontested. But no, Dandian going in, he's gonna clean this one up. Dandian, you absolute madman, flashing in with the ult on top of him. Misfits take the fight. We have to find him. Cav's gonna jump in now. Crownshot and Limit on the wrong side of this, but Crownshot still has the flash. Limit's gonna get locked up, and he's already down. And now the fight really begins. Cav's able to get away with a explosive cast will take down Perks, and one to try to get into the fight, but Crownshot is still alive, and Jenax now able to teleport in and get on the back line. It's a double for Zazi, and here comes Jankos as well, but Cav's gonna get forced away. The shuffle comes in from Zazi as G2 are getting swept away in the top lane. Wonder Low has to pop the stopwatch, but Perks just can't get the damage in. He's putting spear after spear into Limit, but each spear does a minuscule amount of damage, and this is it. But he's ready down to half HP. Here comes the Moonlight Vigil from Elsa. That could be huge, but he doesn't manage to find the targets that he's looking for. Destiny flashes away. Kaiser with the unbreakable will just stands on the front line of the Bates call, puts him straight on Nukeduck's head. He's gonna get the stun, he's gonna get the knockback, and Nukeduck is surrounded by the Mad Lions, and they make a feast of killing that Twisted Fate. And now the turret's doing damage again, and it's Selfmade who's tanking it up. Hylissang gobbles up Reckless, a spinning mount. Nemesis is coming across as well, and the rest of Rogue are unable to answer. Vander gonna try and do what he can underneath the turret here to survive. Hylissang dies! Hylissang dies! Oh, what are you doing? Reckless! Reckless almost dies! The minion doesn't go! What was that? There's no way he can get towards his butt line, and Inspire takes the double. And Rogue send a clear message to anyone who doubted their pedigree, anyone who doubted they belong in the top spot as they destroy Fnatic.